Hello, this is Liam, and this is vlog number 7 in the novel Newbs series. From here on out, these vlogs will highlight what writing has been done over the course of the week, but we have not actually started the writing yet. This week, we will be finalizing the worksheets that we mentioned in blog number 6. So we are setting the story structure this week and hashing out the characters this week. So expect to discuss that next week in a vlog. This week has been chaotic, hectic. I suppose one could say that really about the entire month of August. Factor in the house swap that had to happen for my partner's mother's well-being, and then the allergy response that flared up in our eyes. It's just not been an easy month. So while we had every intention of being fully in the writing process, it just hasn't happened. Some thinking, some percolating has been done this week, though. And any good writer knows that some of the best work is done in the mind before the hands ever touch a pen or lay flat on a keyboard. In last week's vlog, I believe we mentioned that we wanted to start watching the TV series Britannia. Unfortunately, it's only available with the MGM add-on through Amazon Prime. I'm not willing to see if we qualify for a free trial. I don't know if I can watch the whole series in that time. And I'm certainly not willing to pay for the add-on just to watch one series. If you know of any series that are similar, that's what I'm looking to do. In our downtime, we would like to watch as many Greek or Celt retellings, documentaries, etc. Essentially, I want to inundate the headspace with information about Greek or Celtic mythology, so that even in our downtime, we're processing our novel. It seems to me that Tubi might be a good place to start. There are a lot of series and movies and documentaries in their religious section. But if you know of any, drop them in the comments. That would be especially helpful. Here's a big question that I would like to pose to fellow writers, novelists especially. When you are writing a fight scene, very specifically a war, for instance, I was watching Hercules, the 2014 movie, which was an interesting display of Hercules' story. And it was also really interesting to watch The Rock play Hercules. Um, good film though, good film. But I found myself watching the war scenes, and we as a system do prefer visuals. It's easier to see what's going on, it's easier to comprehend, it's easier to learn if I can visualize something. But how does one write a war scene so compelling that the reader then is able to visualize that scene like a movie? I don't know. That's a big question that I find myself asking. I fancy that there will probably have to be a war scene like that in our novel. Um, while the main theme is the mother daughter and relationship to motherhood in general, uh, we're talking about war, um, in these myths, in these tales. There's always an aspect of war. How do you write what we see on TV? And that's my big question for this week. Um, because we have been so far behind, and because Aston has been dealing with his herbal medicine, that has been a huge focus. And that's hasn't been a problem. It's just we thought that we would have enough brain waves to focus on that and focus on this. Um, but because of all the other chaos in life, that has not been the case. So I have very little bandwidth left this week when it comes to the novel. But one of the questions that I think is very important is, how can I best learn to write down what I see on TV? I almost think that it would be a fun challenge to myself, to the system as a whole, to spend a couple of days allowing ourselves to watch movies so that the body can rest, but challenge the mind by grabbing the notebook and writing out what we see. If you are a writer yourself, let me know if that's something that you've done, or if there's an adaptation to that that I'm not thinking of. I also think that within the next week, leading into the month of September, it seems like that's where the headspace is at this week, is we're kind of thinking of August as already done, already closed out. And what can we do to make September a little more successful than August? So looking forward to that, I think that one of the things needs to be joining some more writing prompt games on BlueSky. I think we will join the queer writers prompt, because they encourage listing out your weekly goals every week, and They're very encouraging amongst each other. I think we will hold off for now doing the WIP snips because we have yet to really have a work in progress. But that will change. By the time that we are checking in with you in the month of September, we will have written at least some words. By the time we check in with you next week, we will have a story structure. So, short check-in, maybe a little lacking in the hope this week. But faith is not lacking. I have faith in myself and my system members that we can catch up from where we left off. It's interesting how now that we're back in the home that we felt the most comfortable in, and then stopped feeling comfortable in. We feel very comfortable, have been sleeping better on the nights that we are able to sleep. Our life feels easy. We're at ease. And yet, because of the blip in the schedule, because our day-to-day routine was disturbed, we've lost it. We've lost the plot. We completely put down our weights for an entire month, and I can tell how much of an effect that has on our mental clarity, on our overall vitality, etc. I wanted this series to help people see more of the struggles of our dissociation, but also just the struggles of anybody who is a writer. Working from home is one thing when you're working for another person. If you don't clock in, that person is not going to pay you, and most likely they're going to fire you. So there's motivation there to overcome any of the chaos that's going on around you. But as a writer, your home is your work is your home, and that's constant. That's always. So how do you separate the two? And how do you determine what days to pay attention to the chaos and what days to tune in to your words, to be the muse, to scribe the words for the divine, etc., etc. I think that's all we have this week is, I don't know. It's tough to be us. Boo-hoo. Sad day. How do I write a war? Keep the faith out there if you are a writer. Your art is necessary, and the beauty that you bring to the world is appreciated.